Hello everyone, Katarina here. Finally, I'm back after my summer break with videos with cards. I decided to start with a Halloween card. I will be using here the My Feet Stamp and Die Wobble set from Art Impressions that I showed you in my last haul. I think this is very fun stamp set, and that's why I'm showing this card first if someone wants to get it. So let's get started. I hope you liked my new intro. Also, you don't need to use this specific stamp set with the Action Wobblers. The Action Wobblers will work with many stamp sets that you might have in a stash, so you don't need to have this specific stamp set. I colored the monsters off camera. I mentioned it many times before. I'm not good at coloring, and therefore this video would not benefit from me showing you how I'm coloring. I just wanted to show you how I assembled the monster with the Wobblers. I used a watercolor cardstock and I used the thick clean brush markers to color the monsters. But even before I colored the monsters, I created the background. I wanted to use acrylic paints. For some reason, I haven't seen many card makers using those. I have inexpensive acrylic color set that I bought in a local store. First, I created the purple background. I painted it directly on the card base. And I mixed together the blue and red to create purple. The set doesn't have separate purple color. And I also added a white to make it a little bit lighter. And I will show you here how I created the green background. I added the green into my paint palette. And because the green was a little bit too dark, I added also white to lighten it up. I mixed the colors together, adding more white to bring it to the shade I wanted. I used a flat brush. I think it is 1 centimeter wide, maybe a little bit wider. And when I was happy with the color, I started with creating the background, just simple horizontal lines across the cardstock. I only wanted to create sort of a frame. I definitely didn't want to paint the whole background. I think it would be a little bit too overwhelming. I think acrylic colors are perfect for backgrounds. It just takes a little bit longer for them to dry. That's why I did this prior coloring the monster when I was making another card. That's why I have different nail color. The stamp set comes with 1 Action Wobbler, but you can buy them separately in 3 and 6 packs on 7 Hills Crafts. The wobbler has a spring inside which makes the image wobble, and it has adhesive on both sides. I decided to cut the wobbler a little bit. I saw someone to cut it down and I decided to do the same. It would fit, but I think cutting it down works a little bit better, but this is something you don't really need to do. The plastic part of the wobbler wasn't too easy to cut. You definitely need to have good scissors. And if you shop on Simons' Stamp, I saw they were selling mini wobblers. I think they might be a better option for this. I removed the adhesive on one side and attached it to the feet. And then I attached the feet with the wobbler on top of the monster. The acrylic paint dried perfectly. I also stamped the sentiment on a green and purple cardstock. The sentiment says, "Trick or treat, smell my feet." I think this is quite funny and one of the reasons why I bought this stamp set. To cut the banners with the sentiments, I used my Fiskars paper trimmer and my blade is not too sharp and the edges of the banners were a little bit fuzzy, or how you call it. It's not really showing on the screen, but they weren't smooth. When this happens, I just use a nail file I use for crafting and smooth down edges. It works really great. You can also use a sanding paper, but I prefer to use the nail file. Then I cut the fishtails on the bottom of each banner with the sentiment. At first I had troubles where to put the sentiment. There weren't many options, especially after creating the background. So I decided to create a simple banner and I adhered it at the top corner of the card base. I wanted the monster and the banners to be raised using a foam tape. I already attached the foam tape adhesive off camera because this is a little bit boring, I think. And then I carefully adhered all the parts on top of the card base. As I already said, I really like this stamp set. The only thing I didn't care for is the die for the feet. The monster itself doesn't have any coordinating die, and if you want to die cut it, like me, and have it, for example, raised, you will need to use scissors to cut out the monster. And when I die cut the feet, as with all coordinating dies, it left a bigger border than I cut around the monster, and this way it wasn't even. So I decided to cut the feet with my scissors as well. Anyways, this finishes the cards. I hope you liked this video. If you did, I would really appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. You can follow me on Instagram or Pinterest and hop over to my blog where you can see photos of the cards as well. All the links you can find in the description below, together with the supplies I used in this video. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!